And we are live again once more to talk to you today about single mothers and how they can use the self care strategies in their daily lives. We are here again for part two with Miss Louise Brown, who is the founder and CEO of Wisdom Infused Living. So I hope you enjoyed part one and get ready now for part two. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Part two is here. All right. So, Miss Brown, we are going right into just picking up from where we left off in part one. We looked at the different ways in which single mothers can get burnout. We look at the things they can avoid in order to get burnt out, and of course, how they can, you know, how they can improve their mental health by using self care strategies. All right, so now we are going to be talking about some simple self care activities for single mothers or, single teachers, whoever you are. So, the first topic we want to look at is connection through communication.
All right, so it's a pleasure to be here again. Let's continue to talk about self care for single mothers, and connection through communication is pretty important. Um, what I have discovered is that having a community of people with whom you can connect from time to time is very essential. Whether it could be, it doesn't have to be persons you meet up with face to face, especially since this pandemic has made online like the new way of communicating now. So there is WhatsApp groups that you can become a part of. There are Facebook groups, and there are Facebook groups for single mothers, Facebook group for parents on a whole, and of course you have the Happy Teachers Facebook group where you can connect as well from time to time with individuals. There is also the phone that you can use just to call persons to talk with. And communication is essential because for me, I only have my child in the house. And
Right.
there sometimes I want to have engaging conversations, just to sharpen the mind a little bit. And my child may not be able to think at that level. I mean, she's only 10.
Right.
So I need persons like Venice, right? That I can call and
Mhm.
talk with, or persons from my church. I've found
Mhm.
that the Sabbath school group that we have online has
Mhm.
become very beneficial to me. We meet on a Sunday afternoon, and that's like my family during this pandemic. So I
Right.
have that kind of support group. Now, teachers as well as single parents, whatever profession you are in, you
Mhm.
can find persons who have similar interests like you and try to connect with them on a fixed time, maybe per month or per week, so that you are not left alone with your thoughts. You have persons that you can talk with from time to time, and not just your child, or well, it would be your child because you're a single parent, or whoever
Right.
in the house. So that's my recommendation.
All right. And in addition to that, for persons who may not be able to get a support group, maybe it's difficult for them, depending on where they live, to reach out to people, just having a therapist, to getting a counselor that's trained, that can help you to put your thoughts into words, put your words into ideas, and carve a plan for you to just take it one day at a time, step by step, so that you can have some real goals and achieve some objectives in your life. So never discard going to therapy or having a good counseling that can help you to reach to the next level in your life. All right.
And I think this is the place where I get to share that at Wisdom Infused Living,
Yes.
we have an online group for single
Hmm.
mothers. So if you're
Right.
a single mothers, you can reach out to us on Facebook. That's Wisdom Infused Living, or you
Hmm.
can even connect with me on my own personal Facebook page. That's Louise T. Brown. We have a group where single parents get together and just discuss issues
Right.
affecting each other.
All right. Thank you so much. So the next point we want to talk about is the sticking to routine. Now we talked about it a little bit in part one,
We
but tell
did.
us more about what kind of activities we can do to stick to our routine.
All right, for me, because as individuals, we are tripartite, meaning we have a body or physical part of us, we have the mental, and we have the spiritual. Um, when I develop my schedules, I ensure that there are activities tailoring each part of
Mhm.
my being. So my activities are not just limited to mental development. I would plan activities, ensure that, as I said, in the morning, I would do my spiritual development activities. So between the first thing I would do in the morning would be spiritual, followed by, of course, in my schedule as well is healthy meals, planning the meals, but we'll talk a little
Mhm.
bit more about that separately.
Right.
There is now activities for my child, so I would make sure that once she has her breakfast, her activities are spaced. I'm also a homeschooling mom,
Mhm.
so her activities are spaced, and in between the mental, she would also get some physical activities. She would either go outside and skate, or just go play with the cats, or just go on a nature walk. Um,
Right.
she's not sitting down in front of a screen all throughout the day. And in the afternoon, we have again the family time. This can either be games or it can be watching a movie. And throughout the day, I ensure that I get some physical activity in. So for
Mhm.
me, and sunshine, fresh air, right?
Right.
So for
Right.
me, I usually go outside and just sometimes just walk around the house.
Mhm.
Sometimes I will do up or down, walk up and down the hill, because
Mhm.
there's a slope beside our house. But I ensure that I do something to get my muscles going on a daily basis, because most of what I do is behind a desk. It's a sit down kind of work where
Right.
I don't want to be sitting all day. So I ensure that I get movement in between. So
All
the
right.
easiest part is setting the schedule, but
Right.
sticking to it requires a lot of discipline. But even
Mhm.
if you miss your routine, teachers, professionals, single mothers, if you miss your routine, just pick up where you would have left off the day before. Don't get discouraged or give up. Don't give up. Just keep trying until it becomes a habit, a lifestyle.
Right. And another tip I would give regarding sticking to routine is to get your children involved. If you have a child, two
Absolutely.
children, three children, like I said in part one, have your schedule out
Mm-hmm.
on the public notice board in your home, and everybody put their schedule out so everybody knows their schedule, and let your children know what the routine is. So we know 3 o'clock, it's time to start getting ready for going outside to take a break, ride bicycle, kick a ball, go up and down the hill, whatever it is. So when it's time to go and you see it's 2:45 and the time is going now to 3 o'clock, the kids can say, "Hey, mom, remember 3 o'clock, it's time to go." So they know the schedule and they help you to stick to the routine,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yes. And um I value this activity so much, Venice, that I have created what is called a journal, which is a
Mm-hmm.
combination of a planner and a journal
Mm-hmm.
planner journal. And it's
Mm-hmm.
available on Amazon. You can look
Right,
it up, journal. It's only $12.99. And it
right.
just helps you to keep your activities, to manage, write them down and manage them on a daily basis.
All right, so there you have it. So Louise Brown has a journal and she will be promoting it on Amazon. So you can always go there and get her journal for 12.99. Um, Let me put that there on the screen for you quickly so that you'll know what to look for when you go and get your journal.
Right.
All right. So about the journal, you're saying that you have it for 12.99 on Amazon,
Yes, it's
and
available on
it
Amazon.
helps teachers, mothers, really just anyone
Anyone.
know how to schedule their time, and know how to plan their time, right? Because it's an infusion of a planner and a journal together, correct?
Right? Correct.
All
And it
right, so
has
go ahead.
it has spaces that allows you to plan your goals and your activities for the day so that you are catering to, as I said, the three dimension of the human, of your being. So again, you're not just doing routine activities, but you are growing in the process spiritually, you're growing personally. It also gives you space where you can write down your vision and do something on a daily basis to advance, to help you to achieve your vision. Because um, as we know, Steve Jobs says we're to work harder on ourselves than on our
Mm-hmm.
jobs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have us with us for the rest of our lives. We're not sure, for how much longer we'll have our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So the journey is designed to do that, just to help individuals to work harder on themselves and not
Mm-hmm.
just mental development, but it's physical, spiritual, and also helping you to plan healthy meals. There's also slot for meals. There's also prayer, persons that you should be praying for, you could be praying for on a daily basis. So, as I said, it's a combination of a journal and a planner, and you can also jot down your daily thoughts in it as well.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so make sure you go to Amazon.com and look for Journal by Louise Brown and support, support, support. All right. All
Thank
right, so our
you.
next tip will be using exercise. So what kind of how can we use exercise? Because we've talked about exercise before. We know we need to be disciplined to exercise. And guess what? During this pandemic, have we been exercising? I have to hold on my head because I have fallen off track. And because we are overwhelmed at home now with everybody under lockdown, it has been more and more difficult to find the time just to exercise.
Mhm.
Just to exercise. As a matter of fact, in my house, I can't go 1 second without seeing somebody because everybody's crammed in the same space. So,
Yes.
what can we do to go out
Yes.
and get some exercise?
Exercise is essential because listen, if you don't get those muscles moving, then after a while they're going to cease, and we don't want that. I don't do as much as I should, but every now and then you'll find me running up and down the stairs in this house. Well, thankfully there's a staircase in this house. So when the laziness steps in, instead of going to the walking, which is the best exercise, I just go up and down the stairs
Down
a
the
few
stairs.
times, and
Mhm.
that I do it long enough. I try to do it for at least 15 minutes, and that
Mhm.
would get the blood pumping in the morning. So, at least I am not idle. But
Mhm.
walking is the best exercise, and it's recommended that you do it early in the morning. So, as early as you can get up and go out once it's safe, go get some walk. Try to do it for a minimum 30 minutes, but a recommended time is 1 hour.
Mhm.
So just walk, and it's brisk walk. If you're
Right.
walking and you're not able to breathe comfortably, then you're walking too fast, right?
Mhm.
It's just leisure walking, and what it does is that it gets all of the muscles in your body um, exercised and pump your blood pumped, and you're ready to take on the activities of the day. So don't it's not about going to a gym and having to be paying gym membership. And I don't know how if gyms are open now with the pandemic, but it's
Mhm.
as simple as if you don't have space to walk around outside, you can easily just jog on the spot in your house. Do it for 15 minutes, do it for 20 minutes, whatever time, but set aside some time in the day. It's as simple as getting up from your desk, walking around in your house, but try to move, do something to move throughout the day so your body benefits from that movement.
All right, and I should also encourage people. Right now, we have no excuse, not to exercise because you go on YouTube and you have people on there have giving you different tips and giving you different exercise activities that you can do. What I
Mm-hmm.
love to do in my small apartment here is to follow Leslie Sansone, and Leslie does a 3 mile walk right there in your living room. You
Yes.
just walk on the spot.
Oh, yes.
You're not going anywhere, but you're just walking same way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And
Oh, yes.
she exercises the arms, exercises the legs right there on the one spot. So I
Mm-hmm.
do it. My mom does it. And it's good for persons who are up in age. If you're a bit elderly, you can't run around too much or do too much strenuous exercise. That walking on the spot for 3 miles, 2 miles, or even a mile, it does the job right
Oh,
there. All
yes.
right.
Oh, yes.
So you can go on YouTube and search for that. All right. The next one is breathing and meditation. So, how important is breathing? I know for singers, and so, opera singers, they say that breathing technique is very important for when you want to sing. But when you want to live, how is that breathing technique important?
Well, just getting up in the morning, what I do is open my window. Listen, I am blessed to live in cool, cool Mandeville. Okay, so
Yes.
this is Jamaica. If you know anything about Mandeville, Jamaica, you know that Mandeville is one of the coolest places in Jamaica.
Yes.
So I open my windows in the morning and I just take in gulps of fresh air. Again, the
Hmm.
morning time before the pollution begins, after
Yes.
the atmosphere would have rested throughout the
And
night.
cleansed
And
itself.
listen to
Yes.
me, that morning air, you just need a
Hmm.
3 to 5 gulps of that in the morning.
Yes.
And again, you're good to go. Try to take deep breaths all the way from your diaphragm, not just the top
Hmm.
of your lung, your what is up here, so not just
Yeah.
your
Is
neck,
it your
but
throat?
it's all the way, all the way from your diaphragm, as
Hmm.
deep as you can take it. Hold it for as long as you can, and
Hmm.
exhale. And for me, my meditation isn't just sitting down on a mat somewhere. My
Hmm.
meditation is actually focusing on the Word of God, because in the
Hmm.
morning, as I said, those early morning hours, that's when
Right.
I usually take my meditation. So it would be focusing on something that I would have read, and I would now sit down and process that and apply it to my life and to see how I can use that throughout the day.
Hmm.
It is also daily affirmations. Again, that's one of the things that the journal has a slot for, daily
Okay.
affirmations.
Nations. Hmm.
So in the morning, again, once I find my affirmation or I get my affirmation from God, I would take the time to meditate on that. Just apply it to my life so I can soak that up and manifest it as I go throughout the day. That's the kind of meditation that I engage in. Of course, there are other practices out there, to each his own. So as long as you're taking the time to really just calm yourself and clear
Hmm.
your mind, that will help your mental state to really help you to
Yes.
remain mentally alert.
Absolutely. All right. And breathing and meditation is very important for you to live a calm life. If you find
Mm-hmm.
that your heart is just beating fast all the time and you're always on edge, always nervous and anxious, anxiety, because many of us suffer from anxiety. Many of us not knowing what the future holds, may
Oh boy.
find ourselves not even able to sleep because we have these anxious thoughts in our mind. Breathing and meditating helps us to keep calm and help us to just know that if we don't know what the future holds, none of us do, then guess what? It is okay, and we will take it one step at a time. All right, so the next point is meal preparation and cooking. So we all know that it's important for you to eat healthy. But my way of eating healthy and your way of eating healthy may be different, right? So tell us, how can we use the meal preparation and the cooking in our self-care strategies?
Well, listen, did you know that the kind of foods that you eat, um, they have an impact on your mental state? Your food, the food you put in your body doesn't just help your physical state, but also your mental state. And so it is very important that we eat the food that our manufacturer would have prescribed for us. And
Mhm.
when most times when you hear healthy eating, people tend to think vegetarianism, or for some, it's expensive, but
Mhm.
not so, not so. Healthy eating just requires that you have more of your food in its natural form. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So try to eat. I think the recommended servings used to be 3 to 5. I think it has moved now from 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 servings of fresh
Wow.
fruits and vegetable. Again, there's a pandemic out there, and one of the things that we need is a healthy immune system. And the natural foods is one of the things that we're going to use to help to
Mhm.
keep our immune system functional, you know,
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
peak performance so we can
Right.
fight off whatever virus may come our way. So that is the recommended dosage from the dietitians, 7 to 9 now. It has been
Wow.
increased. And for me, try to have I'm recommending you try to have grains and nuts. Get your fat from natural sources, which would be your nuts. So coconut, olives,
Mhm.
walnut. Get your fat from that. And avoid dairy. Dairy clogs your system.
Mhm.
It certainly does. So as much as possible, get your milk juice, we say, again, from the nuts and the seeds, and
Mhm.
eat plenty grains, a lot of grains, a lot of peas and beans. And if
Right.
you still take your chicken, try to avoid meat, that is, try to avoid frying the
Mhm.
food as much. Bake it, do the baking
Right.
without the oil, use less
Mhm.
oil, get your fat from
Mhm.
its natural sources, and drink plenty of water.
Water.
So it's all good to know what to eat, but
Mhm.
another aspect is knowing how to eat it.
Mm.
And there are again lots of school of thoughts out there about how to eat. But my habit, or what I have learned from medical missionaries, is to eat your raw foods first.
Okay.
So you eat the raw foods first, and then you eat whatever your protein and your carbs are, and then
Mhm.
you end your meal with the fat, which would be the nuts. And there are persons who love nuts, especially nuts like pistachio or cashew,
Yes.
and we
Yes.
would want to eat a whole pack or whatever it comes in. We would just want to open that and sit and feast on it for the entire day. That used to be me
Mhm.
until I learned that all I need is a handful.
A handful.
And if you add a bead, if you put an amount in your hand and you can't close it, that's too much.
Mhm.
So all you
Mhm.
need at each for your first 2 meals is a handful of nuts to close
Mhm.
your meal, and that's the best way to have your 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 fats. All right. And did I say
Absolutely.
drink plenty of water?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, oh, I cannot overemphasize that. Again, it's just 6 to 8 glasses of water. And the best thing to do is to pour that water in a container, have it with you so you can sip that throughout the day. Don't try to gulp it down all at once. You're going to get into trouble. And it's going to send you to the bathroom frequently. So
Right.
try to sip your water instead of drink it. In the morning, you drink, yes. When you just wake up in the morning, you try to drink the water warm, not room temperature, but warm, because what it does, it helps to give you bowel movement.
Right.
So in the morning, if you're having whether or not you're having an issue with constipation, then you
Mhm.
can take your water warm. And after you do that in the morning, the first 2 glasses you drink, try to drink them warm
Mhm.
before you eat anything else in the morning. And that should send you to the bathroom running. And that
And
again,
also lemon, I hear, is very good to put in your
lemon is
water.
good too, but if you have issue with your digestive system, then you do not want the acid from the lemon. But
Right.
yes, drink your lemon water. Use a straw because again, the acid from it will damage the enamel on your teeth. So you want to use a straw when you're drinking your lemon water.
Mhm.
Um, that's basically it. Drink
All
again
right.
before you go to bed. You take a glass of water, not immediately, like about half an hour or so, because you don't want again frequent bathroom runs once you go to bed.
And also knowing when to eat and when not to eat. You're
Yes,
eating too late can
yes,
cause you to have, you know, what do you call it?
indigestion and
Not only indigestion, but you don't sleep well because
well,
you're turning and all that because
insomnia, insomnia,
the
insomnia.
food is
That's the
still
word.
being digested
Mhm,
while you're trying to sleep. You don't
mhm.
get good rest. And when
True.
you wake up groggy. You wake up,
Tired.
as we would say, tired and miserable because you really did not rest. So let
Yes.
us try to finish our last meal at least 2 hours before we head to bed. All right?
6:30. 6:30 is the recommended time.
And I stop mine at
And
6. So
that's
between 6
Jamaica.
to 6:30.
That's
6 to
Jamaica.
6:30, and
Yes.
then you start to prep for bed. If you do feel a bit hungry sometimes, sometimes if you're used to eating at night, it's kind of
Hmm.
difficult to get the body ready. So you can, as Louis said, you can drink water and find different ways in which maybe have a fruit, maybe a banana. So,
Hmm.
but don't eat too much right before bed. You are guaranteed a huge stomach, and in addition to that, you will not have a good night's sleep. I remember when
Right.
you're cooking, try not to use a lot of oil and always try to eat your food in the natural form, as
Yes.
natural as possible.
Yes. And just to include here that cold water, it's not recommended that we drink cold water, but the only time that it's allowable is when if you feel hungry in the night. Cold water
Mm.
closes your appetite fast. So
Oh,
you
really? I
take
shall
a
be trying that.
glass, seriously, take a glass of cold water. If you feel hungry and you're tempted to eat, just take a glass of cold water. Remember, I'm not recommending that you drink cold water because our system, our body temperature is not cold. It's our body does better with room temperature water than cold
Mhm.
water. But just for that, and I don't think that's gonna be every night that you're gonna go to your bed hungry. But that
No.
one once in a blue moon when you feel those hunger pangs, just drink a glass of cold water and go to bed. Resist the food.
All right. So that is good. So the last question I have for you now is give us some feedback, some tips, some parent hacks that you have heard about that might help single mothers, single teachers out there who are trying their best to, keep on track with their self-care strategies.
I I don't know if the hacks that I know if they are really hacks, but when my child was younger, what I used to do is allow the computer to babysit her, and that worked wonders. I just
Mm,
ensured that I put on wholesome content on it. She used to love listening to the children sing. What is it now? Kids Time. And
yeah.
so I would put that there and I could do whatever I want. When she was younger, doesn't work. I mean, right now I'm struggling with balancing the tech
Mhm.
time for her. So
Right.
not for the older kids, but when they're younger. I've heard of parents using cough syrup to help their children fall asleep easily. Don't overdose your children.
Mm.
That, yes. So those little irritable ones, I've never tried it because I never have that. I guess I didn't learn of it then, but I've heard of
Mhm.
it. Um, what I do know for my 10-year-old um, is is a high fiber diet. My 10-year-old
Mm.
tend to get overactive at times,
Yeah.
and so a high fiber diet is what I am using. and natural remedies such as cat claw. Now I use the cat claw to make tea for her in the night.
Mm.
And at first I thought she wasn't going to like it, but no, she's the one recommending it and who's requesting it rather. So
Mhm.
you will hear her, Mommy, make some tea. And be like, what kind? Cat claw. And she's a fan of cats. So, of course, that goes well with her. Um, Another thing I do is use the Wi Fi password as an incentive to get chores done. Again, in my house, I change the
Wow.
Wi Fi passwords whenever there is any resistance, let's call it that, to the schedule. I quickly use that as a strategy.
Mhm.
Just change the password, and that tends to get activities going quick, 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 because I use it as an incentive. For
Right.
me, I try to get as much done as possible in the morning before my child wakes up. So again, remember those early mornings, setting the
Mhm.
schedule, and by the time she gets up, I would have done my exercise, I would have taken my bath, I would have done my morning meditation. So I am ready for her, put it that
Right.
way. So try to get as much. And another thing is learning as much as possible about your child. Once you each child, for I have only one, so the task
Mhm.
is easier for me. But if you have 3 or 4 children, then you want to learn as much as possible about them and try to foster greater camaraderie and collaboration as they get
Mhm.
older. I wish I had done that a little earlier for my daughter. The transition wasn't as smooth. You know, they're babies and you think that they're
Yeah.
going to remain babies all their lives. And when they reach a stage where they want to now help with the plan and you're still holding them off.
Mhm.
But get to know them, know when they're ready, right, to take on certain responsibility. And that will help the transition to be a little smoother. And whatever you do, parents, whether you're single or not, enjoy every phase of your child's development, every phase, because each of the phases has its own challenges as well as
Right.
pleasure with it.
All right. And I would like to add to with the parent hack, have the kids or the child think of ways in which you can take care of yourself. So if the child
Oh.
heard of something and say, Mommy, I heard that Mother's Day coming up and there's a spa opening up for you to get a massage, you should go to take care of yourself. Have them recommend strategies for you to go
Mhm.
and take care of yourself. In addition to that, include them in your self care strategies too. So you're having a facial day where you're putting on facial, your face mask,
Mhm.
and you're washing your face and taking care of yourself at home. Invite your daughters to be a part of it. So it's a daughter and mommy facial day. Do you
Yes,
understand what I'm saying?
yes.
Invite them because they also need to learn strategies in how to take care of themselves when they get older too. And to learn that it's okay to take a break. It's actually the best thing to do to take a break. If they see mommy working, working, working all the time, it's gonna be ingrained in them unconsciously that that's the only way I'll get validation. Just work, 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 work. No, we
So
want to let them know that yes, you should be a hard worker. Yes, work and take care of your finances and take care of your family, but also remember to take a break and take care of yourself too.
absolutely.
All right. So that is it, Louise. Any final words for our listeners and viewers today?
Absolutely. Just for all of you to remember that self care is basically, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It's
Yeah.
basically just taking the time to drink your tea hot.
Mhm.
That is self care. It is taking a long bath rather than a quick shower
Mhm.
because there's so many things needing your time that you cannot just sit, relax, and enjoy the bubbles in the bath for an hour or so,
Yes. Yes.
It's as simple as that. Take time to take care of yourself. You're the only person that you have, right? And if you
Mhm.
don't care for yourself, then who's going to do it for you?
Absolutely. All right. right. So there you have it. We talked about single mothers and how we can use self-care strategies in their lives. So, guys, as usual, I know I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow us on all the podcast platforms. And
Mhm.
remember that Louise has a book out, a journal, which is a journal and a planner together. And she has it on Amazon.com, only for $12.99. So go out and support the single mother here. All right. So thank
Thank
you guys
you.
for viewing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening wherever you are. And I hope that you keep in touch with us and that you'll join us next time for another interview where we'll be talking about self care strategies for teachers. Until then, this is Becoming a Happy Teacher. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.